You are watching the Deadfoot Diver Podcast with Kurt, the Deadfoot Diver.
Welcome to the Deadfoot Diver Podcast, where we talk about everything diving, tech diving, and especially the benefits of diving with disabilities. I'm very pleased to have on today Sylvia Judith Mervyn Jones, who is the manager of the new dive shop in Toby, Blue Heron Adventures. How's it going, Sylvia?
Very good. How are you?
Good. So I guess you've been rather swamped the last couple of months.
Yeah, you could say that. It's certainly been a busy period.
So tell me, first of all, how you got involved in this, and then tell me all about what's going on with the new dive shop in Tobermory this year that everybody I know has been excited to hear about.
Sure. Well, I am a passionate scuba diver, and I've been living up in Tobermory here for the past number of years. Got involved with the Blue Heron Company and was acting as their general manager since 2023. And with this new opportunity to run the dive shop, they offered me the position, and I absolutely couldn't refuse. So we've got a whole new dive shop to talk about, and it's also the very same one that you all have grown to love.
So
Mhm.
you guys have a lot of really cool stuff that you've updated and changed for this year. So tell me, let's start out with the website first of all. I mean, you've made a lot of changes to the website for
Yeah.
charters and everything.
Yes, we've got a whole new website, and certainly our charters have some new offerings for Tobermory divers to check out. So we've added night dives to our regular ongoing schedule throughout the peak season. We'll have, at this time, we've just got Friday and Saturday nights with a night dive available. But there could be more dates added to that. We'll just see how the interest level goes. And if there is demand, we can always add more midweek or Sunday nights. And we've also added a regular ongoing trifecta dive. So that's our beloved dive where we head north up to the San Jacinto, City of Cleveland, and usually also visit the Arabia. So that's going to be on the schedule. Again, at this point, we've just got it running about every 3 weeks. But pending demand, we can always add more tours to those sites as well.
Which is awesome. And I mean, you guys have a new online booking system, right? Why don't you tell us a bit about that?
Sure, yeah. So the online booking system enables scuba divers who are regular customers to purchase a membership, and with that membership, enjoy the benefits of unlimited walk-on charters throughout the season. So members will be able to sort of log in to our website and book themselves on various charters for no additional fee once they've purchased their membership. So you can sort of plan out your entire summer or your whole dive season, and on all the dates that you're going to be up here in Tobermory, get yourself a spot on those boats. So that's pretty exciting. You can also cancel your own bookings if something comes up. So you'll be able to see a whole list of the dates that you've got booked, and it's really seamless. You can do it from your smartphone or your PC, and we're just hoping that this makes things a lot more convenient for regular divers who are used to coming to Tobermory all the time. It's certainly not going to replace in-person customer service for new divers who are just, wanting to ask a lot of questions and find out about diving. But for those of you who are regular Tobermory divers returning year after year and wanting a quicker, easier way to just book on board those boats, this is for you.
Yeah, that's awesome that you guys do that. I know I'm going to use that a lot this year because I live just an hour and a half south of Tobermory, so I go up there to dive all the time. So you'll be seeing me a lot this year. I'm
Excellent.
definitely going to get a pass.
Right
So
on.
actually, yeah, why don't we talk about your the pass options that you guys have for stuff?
Sure. So we've got various different passes available, starting with actually the Explorer Pass. It's not even for divers, but divers can enjoy it as well. The Explorer Pass gives people unlimited snorkeling tours. So we've increased our snorkel tour offerings as well. And this could be of interest to some divers who maybe come up here with family members or friends who aren't into diving. This could give them the opportunity to show their friends a little bit what it's about and maybe intrigue them to get interested in diving in the future, or at least have a comparable experience and take them out for snorkel tours. So those tours will be offered throughout the peak season daily at 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. It's a 2-hour tour and includes all the snorkeling things you need. And then we're also adding a night snorkeling option. So it's a 6 p.m. departure, and it'll go into the big tub area for snorkeling on Sweepstakes and the city of Grand Rapids. So it's a slightly shorter tour, but it's not a shorter experience in that you'll still have the same amount of time to snorkel. It's just a much closer site to get to. So the tour doesn't have to be quite so long. After the snorkeling tours, we're offering what we're calling the Adventure Pass. And the Adventure Pass is the unlimited walk-on dive charter pass. So it'll be good for morning advanced sites, afternoon intermediate sites, the night dives, as well as the trifectas all season long. That pass is $9.99, and it is for the charters alone. So if you want to add unlimited gear rentals like air fills or full scuba equipment, then you can choose to combine our gas pass or our gear and gas pass with that adventure pass to have sort of an all-inclusive experience.
Which is awesome. And how much are your gear and gas passes? Just so that
So
everybody knows.
the gear and gas pass is $5.79, and the gas pass alone is $2.79.
Oh, okay. Awesome. So the 579, that includes gear plus gas.
That one does, yeah. So that's for
Wow.
sort of your beginner diver who's done their open water. Maybe they're advanced, but they haven't invested yet into all of their own equipment. They're going to dive with us a lot throughout the season. It makes sense to get that gear and gas pass so that you can come up here and every time you arrive, your full kit is ready to go.
Yeah, that's actually a really good deal for the whole summer for
Yeah.
that amount. So what else do you guys plan on doing? Like, how many charter boats are you going to be running this year?
Well, we still have all the same boats that you guys have come to know and love from the original Diver's Den. How many we'll be running is very dependent on demand, but certainly every day we'll have the advanced boat running in the off-peak season. And then once we get around to peak season, we've got the advanced and the intermediate boat both going. Intermediate boat used to be called open water boat, just so everybody knows. We're calling that one intermediate because those sites really are for intermediates. Beginners can still get on them, but usually under the supervision of a PADI Pro or with a private guide. So, we're going to be offering charters as well, the private charters on all those same vessels. And the locations that we will be operating are still the beloved sort of Diver's Den location at 3 Bay Street, as well as the old GNS location at 8 Bay Street. So just like in previous years, you'll find us at both those locations for your air fills, gear sales, equipment service, as well as checking in for your charters. And, we're just going to continue on with the long tradition of divers serving divers all the way since 1967.
Yeah, which is awesome that you guys took over. So, what do you guys offer as far as like Discover Scubas and training and stuff like that if somebody wants to come up and get certified?
Yeah, so we definitely offer both. Discover Scuba Diving is a very wonderful experience. And in Tobermory, although it is cold, it's quite thrilling because we do offer that right at the Tugs dive site where there's real live shipwrecks to see. So it's a big seller. People are very interested to come up to Tobermory and try scuba diving for the very first time. We'll be offering that all season long, just as soon as the waters are warm enough that it can be enjoyable. So usually that's sort of mid to end of June. Even early July, sometimes it can still be a bit chilly. So that experience is offered daily at 9 a.m. and at 2 p.m. It's $250 to try it. That includes everything from your PADI e-learning right down to your personalized instruction with a PADI Pro. And we're going to teach you all the basics of scuba diving until you take your very first breaths underwater. And provided that the student or participant is comfortable and able to perform the skills, there's also an optional scuba dive that would then take place in open water down to a maximum depth of no more than 40 feet or 12 meters. And that could be anywhere between sort of 30 and 50 minutes for the dive, totally depending on air consumption and comfort in the waters for the divers.
Well, the one thing you were talking about, the temperature, I know that last year everybody was shocked at how warm it was at the tugs.
Yeah.
Because I mean, my dive computer read 73 degrees for most of the summer, which is absolutely insane. Considering I used to dive up there in the 90s when I first got certified, and it would be in like the 50s in the summer. In fact, you did not have to worry about snorkelers on the tugs back
Right.
then
Yeah.
because nobody wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it depends on how deep you are. The tugs in that shallow area, and just the position, with the sun coming in there in the afternoon, it can get very warm on the surface. But even once you dip down over the edge of sort of that cliff at the tugs, and you get down to 40 feet, it still can be, in the 50s or, even down to the 40s. But generally on the deeper sites out in Fathom 5, you can find, a 44, 45 degree temperatures or, 6 degrees Celsius. Even in the peak of summer once you get down to depth.
Yeah, it's definitely colder once you get down to depth, that's for sure.
Yes.
But
Um,
however, if you want to try snorkeling, anybody or anything, the tugs is a perfect place to do it because I mean, you literally have a shipwreck that's 50 feet out from the shore that you can walk out to, and you're not even up to your chest.
yeah, it's a great location for beginners as long as everyone knows to respect the boundary and not be all over the wreck, which we're very good at telling people who join us on those experiences. And I think you'll find local divers and local swimmers and snorkelers around there too, saying don't stand on the wreck. It is historic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
generally everybody's pretty good about that.
Right, yeah. We also have some fairly exciting improvements happening around 3 Bay Street at the original dive shop location there, including a full relocation of our fill station. So
Uh,
that's going to create more of a restricted access area for the fill station, as well as create sort of a purpose-built tank drop-off and pickup area for divers. That'll be accessible for divers alone. So while it is a snorkel and dive center, we're working hard to streamline the check-in areas for both snorkelers and divers so that we can sort of enhance everyone's experience.
yeah, no, that'll be a big plus as well, for sure. And
Yeah.
hopefully get because I mean, in the summer, you guys, it gets insane up there.
That's right. It can be very busy. So if we're working on these improvements to sort of streamline that, to have a place that's dedicated for divers who are picking up and dropping off tanks, that they won't be waiting in a lineup for others checking in for other tours, for example. And we're also planning a grand opening event at the end of May, so you won't want to miss that.
Is that the weekend that Jill is up?
It is. See how that
Uh,
happened? Yeah. This was best
I
laid
will be
plans.
there.
Awesome. Yeah, we're gonna do sort of a formal ribbon cutting ceremony and some talks downtown at the dive shop. Timing is a bit TBD at the moment, but it's likely going to be midday, and Jill will be one of the people talking. And we'll also have the Save Ontario Shipwrecks trade show booth set up, a coloring contest for children who can enter to win a 3D puzzle of a shipwreck, and some other fun things going on, all leading up to the grand finale that evening, which is our event at the Parks Visitor Center to showcase Jill's amazing film, Diving into the Darkness.
Exactly. I cannot wait to see it. I miss the online screenings every time that it has been on. And as you know, she was one of my first guests on my podcast. So I'm super excited about meeting her, and I have a book back here for her to sign.
Oh, right on.
And I'm getting side mount certified 2 weeks before by her trainee Hubert.
Oh,
Correct.
really? That's exciting.
So we're hoping if everything, all these stars line up and she's not too busy and she can squeeze me in, we're hoping that I'm going to get to do a side mount dive with her that weekend to get some tips.
Amazing. Yeah, that'll be awesome.
So yeah, no, that's amazing that she's coming up there for that. That sounds like a really awesome weekend that you guys have planned. Do you guys have anything else big planned for that weekend?
Well, there will be diving happening as well. So we'll have charters running on both the Saturday and Sunday. And by that point in May, actually, we've got daily charters running still for advanced divers. And if a boat fills up and we've got, 12 divers booked on, then we can look at adding additional vessels as well. So if we end up with a really great turnout and a lot of people want to get on those boats, maybe have a chance to dive with Jill, then we can always increase some capacity there and potentially add another vessel to accommodate. But it will be advanced sites that we're heading out to that time of year. Just it's still cold enough that we want people who are very familiar with the risks of diving in the cold at that time of season.
Oh, I plan on being up there the first weekend that you guys open and going out on the charters so that I'm ready to do whatever you guys do that weekend.
Great.
So, so what are you guys offering as far as other training courses and stuff go?
Okay. We are providing the full range of PADI courses, but we mainly focus on, what the area lends itself well to. So here in Tobermory, we've got deep water, cold water, shipwrecks. So we really are putting a heavy focus on wreck diver certifications, deep diver certs, as well as dry suit. And then there's some others that people may be interested in as well, who maybe have never dove from a boat. Sometimes it's great to take that boat diver course just to know what it's going to be about before you've ever gone out on a first ever boat charter. But we really are offering the full range. So right from discover scuba diving to your open water and through to instructor development course. We don't have that planned on the books yet on our schedule for this year, but we're thinking it'll likely be in and around September once kids are back in school.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It's probably easier to work around with all the crowds too.
That's right. Yeah, and it's a few weeks to get through that course, so it's nice to have sort of a less busy shoreline and shop, so that people can move around a bit more freely, and we can do our heavy duty training with these instructor candidates.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's awesome that you guys are doing that and offering all those courses. So, are you guys planning on doing like any harbor cleanups or anything like that this year?
Yes, absolutely. Our beloved Scrub the Tub event is coming back in full force. I think eons ago, this event was actually put on by the whole town. And so it wasn't just an in harbor underwater diver activity, but it was, all of Tobermory, and maybe the chamber was involved in other groups. So with Blue Heron now taking over the operations here at Blue Heron Adventures and the Dive and Snorkel Center, we really want to bring this back to become, a community event. And certainly we'll provide everything we need to get down in the harbor with divers and clean that area as well. But we're planning it for the week before the Chichimon Festival. Usually that's when we like to just make sure, we get everything cleaned up to make Tobermory shine for all of its incoming visitors. And then we may also be then this year adding another one in closer to the end of summer, so that we kind of do a spring startup and then a fall shutdown, to make sure that everything's looking its best and nothing finds its way into the waterway for the overwinter months.
Yeah, which is awesome. I mean, you guys, how much trash normally gets pulled out of there? Do you have any idea roughly?
Oh, I don't even know how many hundreds of pounds, but when I was involved in the event in previous years that was put on by Divers Den, we took truckloads to the local dump. So there's a lot, especially when you start getting into like pulling up, old tires and things like that. I think it was more meant to be smaller debris, but at one year we ended up, pulling out old tires from the marina and stuff, and they were like, don't go that crazy.
Yeah, but actually, you gotta give the divers credit for wanting to pull it up.
Yeah, yeah. They were used on the old shore wall and things like that as bumpers. So, but over time, that their attachment points degraded and they fell into the harbor. So,
Hey, everybody, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And by the way, we're also on your favorite podcast platforms now. We are on Amazon. We are on Spotify. We are on iHeartRadio. We are on Player FM and Podchaser. All of the descriptions are going to be down below, so make sure you check us out. Thanks. Have a great day. And remember, grab an adventure and live. Yeah. So that's awesome. So what else? Do you guys have any other special events type of stuff planned over the summer?
yeah, so not a whole bunch of stuff announced yet, but some of the things that we have ongoing are our mooring workshop and some events with Save Ontario Shipwrecks, where we'll be putting into place a full mooring program. So that'll have volunteer divers coming up, building and assembling new marker buoys, and then going out and deploying them, as well as continuing on a regular schedule of dives to go down and just, view and check that things are well maintained and in good shape. So we'll take some video and just sort of see what condition things are in a preventative maintenance type of way. So we'll be doing that. And then we're also planning some sort of historic dives that will happen right on the date that the shipwreck, originally sank. So I won't say what those are now because those are some, sneak peeks coming for this summer. But we do at the moment have 2 of them planned, and there will be more.
Cool. Any
Mhm.
retro diving gear involved in any of those retro days?
You can
Well, I
wear what
had to
you'd like
ask.
whenever you'd like. I mean, we're certainly open to fun things like that. I've been watching around on social media what some of the other dive groups and clubs do throughout Ontario. I've seen, a underwater pumpkin carving in October and things like that. And it would be great to get more involvement in the local dive community up here in Tobermory. So one thing that we're currently looking at doing is just having a locals night every week at the tugs, where we put a couple PADI professionals in the water, and we're going to focus on particular skills. So it's not a course or a class, but there's going to be a pro there who can sort of help you out, give you some pointers, and maybe you can come and ask them questions, or at the very least know that there's going to be some other divers in the water. So if you're otherwise, on your own as a single diver, you know that you can come on, whatever night of the week it's scheduled for, and show up and join with some other locals and get wet.
Yeah, that's awesome, especially that you're gonna have one of the dive pros there, because that way people can just ask questions if they got general stuff. And not only that, it's a good thing for new divers to check out everybody else's gear and like, oh yeah, well, what about that? Or, do I need that? Or
For
so
sure.
it's a perfect learning time for stuff like that. So tell me, what you just opened the Save Ontario Shipwrecks chapter in Tobermory.
Mhm.
So tell me a bit about that and what the plans are and how people can get involved in it.
Sure. Okay, well, I'll take off my Blue Heron Adventures hat. And I'll put on my Save Ontario Shipwrecks hat. So I'm the secretary of the board on the Save Ontario Shipwrecks Tobermory chapter. We are a part of the business that was incorporated in 1981. SOS became a public charitable organization at that time, and it's basically a dedicated group of volunteers from across the province who are interested in preserving our marine heritage. So obviously Tobermory is lacking this at this moment until we started this chapter. I think it's going to be a great addition to the offerings up here, and also enhance a lot of the awareness and knowledge around town and with the locals about the marine conservation. So we're going to work together with the Canadian Coast Guard as well as Parks Canada and Blue Heron Adventures, because they'll be supplying our boats, to help us monitor and repair new and existing moorings as necessary throughout the Fathom 5 National Marine Park, but also in the surrounding area. Some people forget that it's not just the marine park up here. We also have dive sites and moorings outside of the park. For example, there's a mooring just off of Indian Head Cove at the grotto or the cave site. I think at one point there were even two there. And while the shoreline is national park, the water there is not. So these moorings are put up every spring and taken down every winter or replaced with an ice marker by a team of volunteers. And so SOS Tobermory will be that team of volunteers. People can get involved by going to saveontarioshipwrecks.ca. Then they just need to click join. And when you buy your membership, which can be sort of 1 year, 2 year, family plan, whatever you decide, you just have to be sure to choose the Tobermory chapter as the one to associate with. And that's going to ensure that your $55 for the annual membership will go towards the Tobermory chapter. And all of these funds will go towards building and buying materials for building and designing additional moorings, to replace old broken down ones, and then also to create new dive sites. So they might be existing dive sites, but without a mooring. And we know that having a mooring in place where, there's a rocky shoreline is going to create a much safer location for divers to visit or possibly snorkelers. Rather than trying to anchor where, maybe there's a steep drop off, or if the mooring came loose, you have the option of ending up on the rocks. That doesn't sound good to anyone. So enhancing these moorings, creating new ones. There's a few places that we'd love to be able to get out and dive at more often, but without a mooring on site, it makes it very difficult to get to and more stressful, let's say, for a dive boat captain to take people there when he or she may know, without the mooring, if the winds change and I have divers down, it's going to be more difficult for the divers to get back on the boat or what have you. So increasing the number of moorings available in and around the park is one of our priorities. And then also making sure that the ones that exist are in good condition. Often these moorings are attached to, very big, heavy, 2 or 5 ton concrete blocks. And if a mooring comes loose and you've got a huge dive boat or, pleasure craft attached, it can drag that block potentially in bad weather conditions right into a wreck, a historic shipwreck, and cause damage. So that's where we're very focused on making sure that these are well maintained so that there is less potential for damage to the wrecks as well.
Yeah, which is a really good point. I mean, I'm actually surprised that there hasn't been an SOS chapter in Tobermory long before now, actually.
Yeah, I think at one point there might have been a probational chapter, which ours is probational at this point. We do need to get through a full year before we become sort of a fully fledged chapter. And there may have been one in the past in Tobermory, but I'm not quite sure the details or what happened with it. But so SOS will put on events throughout the year to help raise funds. The very first event that we're hosting this year is in early May, and it'll be for some of our volunteer divers to come up and take part in a mooring program workshop where we're going to be taught by members of the SOS corporate team how to properly build and deploy a mooring, and then we're going to head out and start putting up the moorings for the season. Following that, the Sources of Knowledge and SOS event for Diving into the Darkness, the film that we're putting on, is our first fundraising event of the year. And all the funds that we do raise there will be going towards the mooring program in Tobermory.
Yeah, which is awesome to do that. And
Yeah.
hopefully, I imagine you're going to get a really good turnout just because of the fact Jill is going to be there. So
Yeah, I'm very excited about that, and ticket sales have already been moving along, so I think we're in for a good response for sure. It's going to
yeah,
be a
I
great
got
event.
mine the first day. Thank you for notifying me when they went live
There
because
you go.
I wasn't sure I was going to be sleeping or not when they went on sale.
Right. Mhm.
um, so, one other question I have for you, going back to the Blue Heron for a minute, is
Mhm.
the price of the dive charters.
Mhm. Okay, I'll put
If
my other
somebody
hat
just
back on. All right, where's my name tag? Okay, no, just joking. Right, so the dive charters, we've opted to keep the pricing for the most part the same across the board from what Divers Den had been offering in 2024. Just no shock and awe for any returning divers. It's sort of the status quo. However, we are offering some value added incentives for people as well. So the charters start at $105 for a night charter or night dive. It's that price because it's one dive. Right now, we have it set in our system online that it's sort of like a 6 p.m. departure. Soon, you will see online that that departure time is going to change throughout the season. But if you're booked on it, it's just going to fluctuate with essentially when does the sun set. So we want to sort of depart within an hour of sunset so that we can start our night dive at the time of a night dive where there is actual darkness. From that 105 for a night dive charter, we go up to our off-peak season rate. So this is the charters that are offered starting in May and into the fall for advanced divers. It runs on a bit of a different schedule at that time of year because we just have the one walk-on boat going out. So it's an 11 a.m. departure, and we're offering that walk-on 2-tank boat dive for $130 plus taxes. Everything is plus tax. And then once we hit peak season and we begin offering 2 boats a day, so the morning advanced boat and the afternoon intermediate, prices increase at that point to $145 per 2-tank boat dive. And they continue at that rate until mid-September, about September 14th, I think. And then we go back down to the off-peak rates and the timing changes. So in peak season, our morning boat is going to leave at 8 a.m. and our afternoon boat's going to leave at 1. And that is actually a slightly different schedule from previous years. So we're leaving a little bit earlier at 8. Dive shop opens at 7. So we still have that hour for people to check in and grab their tanks, get down to the boat for 8, but that means they're going to be back on the dock at 12. And so for folks who want to dive all day, they're going to have a nice long 1-hour lunch break in the harbor between the charters. I'm hoping that this will allow people to, get more sustenance. The grocery store is a little further away now. So if people need to drive up the highway or walk up the highway to get their lunch at the grocery store, they can, or allow a bit more time to come back to the shop and get tank refills and whatnot if they want to jump on that afternoon boat. So afternoon boat will go out, as I said, at 1, and then it returns at 5, which is, 4 hours later. So those are all at the 145 throughout the peak season. And then the last charter with a different rate is the trifecta. And that, because it is 3 dives, we're not making it the cost of a full day. So it's going out for 185, which will include the 3 dives and a full day, because you are gone still for about 8 hours, just because the sites are further away. So there's more traveling to get there and back. But in between the sites, you still have about an hour to an hour and a half rest in between for your surface interval.
Yeah, which is awesome. I like the fact that actually it's even better now you've told me you've moved the afternoon charter till 1 because I'll be able to make more of them.
There you go. So yeah, we're getting some good feedback on that. I think hopefully our dive boat captains will also appreciate having a bit longer to get off the boat, wait for everybody to depart, and have a real break in the day before they have to head back out on the water and be eyes on everyone for another 4 hours. So just giving people a little bit of a break, I think, is going to help as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, your crew should definitely appreciate that for sure.
Yeah.
So
And then, yeah,
thank
and then
you
with
very
the,
much for joining
yeah,
us today, Sylvie. It was
you're
awesome
welcome.
to have you on. And I look forward to seeing you a lot this summer because I'll be up there quite a bit. And
Fantastic.
thank you very much for joining us, everybody. And remember, grab an adventure and live. And please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks, and see you next time.